Do you ever just feel like there's something you're specifically supposed to do? You're supposed to go somewhere or call someone or do something, and you're just not really sure why? You don't really have a reason, and you're not really sure like what the purpose is? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today on Boldly Driven Conversations with Bri. So, I am in Charlotte, North Carolina for the weekend, and on my way here to Charlotte, I had some really interesting assignments. I call them assignments, as I was coming here, and then just now had my third one, and it was just really, really strange. The first one is I stopped at a Buc-ee's, and I have never been to a Buc-ee's before, and it was fantastical fun. I did not buy anything, which I know is really crazy and weird, but it was so much fun. I had a really good time walking around it. But as I was walking out, I also had to get gas. And I felt like I was supposed to go to this specific gas pump, and I had no idea why. Like, if you've ever been to a Buc-ee's before, they have, like, no joke, like 70 plus gas pumps. And this one, I don't even know how many this one had. But for some reason, I knew I was supposed to go to number 55. And which really didn't make any sense whatsoever, because again, I've never been to a Buc-ee's, but I did. And I went to pump 55, and on the other side of the pump, there was someone who was having an argument on the phone. And there was just some reason I was supposed to be there, and I really wasn't sure why. But it stuck with me. Like, the reason, I was supposed to go to number 55, and it stuck with me. Like, I knew, and then somebody having an argument, like, really stuck with me, because they were arguing about not having enough money for gas, for their trip. And I never carry cash with me, like, ever. And I just so happened to have $5 in my wallet that my son had given me, my middle son. Actually, it gave me 2 5s, and I ended up using one of the 5s at a baseball game for my kid. But then I still had a $5 left, and I just felt like I was supposed to give that $5 to them, and that was what they needed in order to get the gas. I had no idea. And please, please, please don't hear this as like a humble brag. I really do not mean it that way. I'm just sharing how our intuition, and I also believe the Holy Spirit leads me. But our intuition is the part in our brain, in our minds, in our bodies, in our souls that also leads us to do things, right? And it's kind of a decision maker for a lot of us, people who are like really feelings based, like myself. And so I've just been really learning to listen to my intuition in the last few years, and also listen to the Holy Spirit of what to do, when to do, where to go, etc. So that was the first thing. And I just thought it was really weird. But not at the same time, because this happens to me all the time. And then I made a second stop. I made multiple stops because I have the bladder the size of a toddler. So then I made a second stop in Shelbyville, North Carolina, where I stop and ate a few hours later. And got out, ate at a Chick-fil-A, because I hadn't had Chick-fil-A in like a really long time. And while I was in the Chick-fil-A, used the bathroom. And when I went into the bathroom, there was someone in there, and she was having like she was just not feeling well. And I didn't know what to do. She was not feeling well. And so I went outside, got someone to help her. Ended up that she was having a diabetic episode. And so just happenstance, I was supposed to be there. And if you've ever been to a Chick-fil-A, they're never not busy. But this one in particular was really not busy, and there was nobody there. And I just, for some reason, felt like I was supposed to go to that one, because there was several that I passed on the way on this one road that I went on, that I was on for a really long time. And I just felt like this was not the one. This was not the one. I ended up not eating until like 2:30 or almost 3. And for some reason, I was supposed to go to that one. And I really believe that it was my intuition and God, Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a combination of both. leading me to this particular one. So that was the second incident today, where like I was really listening to myself. And this is a practice that I've been doing a lot, where I'm just listening and I'm following. And it's following the next thought, the next thing, the next place, the next whatever, and just doing it and not questioning it, even if it feels weird, right? Because who wouldn't stop and get something to eat and says, I want Chick-fil-A, and I don't know about you, but going from like Nashville, Tennessee, all to Charlotte, North Carolina through the Smoky Mountains, like there's a lot of Chick-fil-A's to stop at. But for some reason, I'm supposed to stop at that one. And now I just had my third incident that was really, really strange. Not strange. I don't know why I keep using the word strange. It's just normal when you're living this life intuitively, this intuitive life. But the third thing happened to me. I'm supposed to pick up a friend from the airport. I've never been in this city before. I'm just outside of Charlotte in like Harrisburg area. And I have a couple hours before I need to pick them up. And I don't know where I'm going, but for some reason I felt like the house that I'm staying at, I felt like I needed to go to Target all of a sudden. Now I did forget makeup brushes. And so I was like, oh, I need to get makeup brushes so that I have for the weekend. But I was just going to get them at Walmart, because when I pick up my friend from the airport, we were going to stop at a Walmart to get something that they forgot. And they said they needed to stop for. So I was just going to stop at Walmart. But for some reason, I felt like I was supposed to go to Target. And for some reason, the number 55 stuck out in my head. And I'm like, 55? Well, that was the number from earlier that I was supposed to go to the certain gas pump. And I was like, well, I'm going to listen to it. So when I looked up the closest Target to me, the one that was 5.5 miles away, I was like, I guess maybe that's the one, 55. I don't know. Maybe, sometimes you like look into it and you look for something. But I was like, okay, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go to this one because it's only 5.5 miles away. It's the closest one. And so I went inside and I was like, well, I don't really need anything. I mean, I need the brushes, but I can get them cheaper at Walmart because I have good ones at home. I don't need another set of them. But whatever. I walked around. I'm like, I don't know, but I feel like there's something here for me. There's something I'm supposed to do. I still didn't know what I was supposed to do. And then I started looking at my watch and I was like, oh, I probably should get going because I have to be on a phone call and then I have to also pick up my friend. And I'm just sharing with you my thought process of this, of how this kind of works, for me anyway. And then I went to the checkout. I got the makeup brushes. I was like, I might as well get them here. They're cheap. And then as I was checking out, it asked me if I wanted cash back. And again, I don't ever get cash. I don't ever carry cash with me. And I got $20 out for some reason. I was like, well, maybe I might need it this weekend. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend with my friends. Might need cash for something. It's always good to have it when you're out of town, just in case something happens, right? So I did get $20 out. And as I walked out of the Target, and now I'm in a nice area. I'm in a really nice area. As I was walking out, there was a gentleman who was sitting in the corner, and it was really obvious that he was an unhoused person. And I walked past him, and I just heard that voice. Again, I call it the Holy Spirit. That voice that said, that's your assignment. And 55, that's your assignment. And I was like, 55, okay, that's my assignment. I mean, I have cash. Is that what I'm supposed to do? And I kept walking to my car because I wasn't really sure, and I didn't want to like go and like do something, I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing. And then the voice was like, turn around. You know what you're supposed to do. I turned around and I went to him and I said, hey, I don't normally carry cash, but I think I'm supposed to give this to you. And I gave it to him. And then the voice was like, ask him if 55. And I asked him, I said, does the number 55 mean anything to you? And he said, yeah, 55 means a lot to me, actually. He said, that is the amount of money I need in order to be able to get the shoes and the things that I need in order to get this job that I'm going to be interviewing for tomorrow. And I needed like $20 extra. He said to get the things I need and to get myself dinner and to be able to have like the fare that he needs, like Uber, or I don't know what it was what he needed, but the fare that he needs in order to get to the interview tomorrow for the job. And I was like, oh, okay, great. I was like, well, let this just be confirmation for you that you're doing what you're supposed to do, and just follow that intuition, follow that thing, that next right thing. And he's like, yeah, it's really weird. He's like, I don't like to panhandle. He said this is a kind of a new thing for me. He gave me a little bit of a story, and he said, I'm not panhandling. I'm just sitting here because I've been walking all day, and I just needed a place to rest, and I needed a place to kind of figure out my next move of what I'm going to do. And I was calculating what I needed for the next day to get to the interview. And he's like, I just felt like I was supposed to come here for some reason. And I told him, yeah, me too. And we just had a moment. And so anyway, I share all of this with you. Please, please, please don't hear it as like some kind of like humble brag or something. I really mean it as a teaching thing, that we can trust ourselves. We can trust those thoughts about where we're supposed to go and what we're supposed to do and what our next move is, whether it's going to a Target or the next gas pump or the job interview or whatever it might be. We can trust ourselves. And the more we learn to trust ourselves, the more we learn to listen to our intuition, the more our intuition is going to be correct. It's going to lead us better and well and more steady, and we're going to feel more confident in ourselves and our decisions. And again, there's also that little voice for me is not just my intuition, but it's like the Holy Spirit just kind of leading me, is what I believe. And you may believe something different, but that's what I believe. And in just the combination of the knowing, the intuitive knowing of what my next move is, and the listening is such a powerful combination of making decisions in our life for ourselves. And the fruit of it is so beautiful, getting to be a part of somebody else's story, getting to be a part of somebody else's life in a way that is so serendipitous is really kind of cool. I don't know if you've ever been blessed by, someone giving you something or being a recipient of something that you really needed and you didn't know how to ask, and it just was bestowed upon you. I don't know if you've ever had that happen, but when it happens, that blessing is so powerful. So you get to be a part of that when we listen to our intuition, when we listen to that little voice that tells us where we should go, what we should do, what our next move is. Not only for ourselves, that blessing, but we get to be that blessing for others too. And it's just a really cool thing. So I wanted to boldly step out and speak that out to you guys, and boldly encourage you to listen to your intuition. Trust yourself. Trust that voice, and really magical things are going to happen. Have a great weekend.